Hey everyone, D3 here from BrightIdeasScouting.com. It's another Scouting in the Park. We are back in southern Minnesota here and getting back into the routine after all the conferences and trainings and whatnot. So, after looking at the analytics, I've seen that our number one podcast, pretty much of all time, has been one of our last ones about remembering everything, forgetting nothing, and tools to help you do your planning. In that, we introduced the tool Evernote, which you can get at evernote.com. It's for the Mac, for the PC, for Android, for iOS, and you guys have sent a lot of questions that generally say, Doug, this looks like an amazing tool. How else do you use the tool? And so I thought today I would kind of do an Evernote part 2 as to how do I use Evernote. So first and foremost, I use with every Evernote account, you get a special email address that they give you. And so anything that gets forwarded or sent to that email automatically goes into your default notebook and stuff. And so what I do is pretty much all of my email subscriptions that I get newsletters for, I give them that email address. That way I don't have a lot of emails to look at. Rarely is there an email newsletter that I need to process right away? Like this is coming up and I need to take action right now. I like my email, my personal email, to be things that are from friends, family, and things that I need to work on right away. Email newsletters are nice, they're informative, but I don't need to be bothered with them during the day. So what I do is when I found this tip, I basically went through all of my emails newsletter. As email newsletters came in, typically at the bottom of each one, there's a update profile. So I would go out, I would update the profile and take off my personal email, and then I would, update it with this Evernote email address and stuff. And so now anytime I sign up for a new email address, I do it with this one because I really don't need to read them during the day. It's more something when I get home at night, I'm done with scouting stuff, I want to relax, I want to catch up on reading, that's when I'll take a look at them. So first and foremost, removing your personal email, which is also kind of cool for privacy, and giving them this. And so that certainly helps. So over the next month, every email address, the email newsletter that you just start to update them. And typically speaking, it's at the bottom. Also, as I'm talking to team members, whether they be my committee chairs, my den leaders, my cub masters, my DE, and stuff, if they send me a form or they send me some notes or things from a committee meeting, that I'm like, hey, this is really useful, I like to get it out of my email. So I have a contact in my email that just says Evernote, which is that email address, and I just forward to Evernote, and suddenly it's now in my notebook. And so that really helps me take care of all of the clutter and stuff. Plus, if I have if I just like to get rid of those, boom, send it off to Evernote, and then I'm safe in getting out of my email system. Second tip I've got. I take a photocopy of my driver's license. So if I'm somewhere and I need to fill out a form or something, I've got a copy of it right there. I also take a picture of all of my vehicle's license plates. You're checking into a hotel or to a conference and they're like, what's the make and model? I know the make and model, but I always tend to forget what license plate they are. Plus, if we're going as a group to a convention or a jamboree or something, we got a bunch of parents with cars, we'll go around, we'll take pictures of each of their license plates, so we've got them and stuff like that. What else? Medical forms. When I fill out my BSA ABC forms, I'll fill that out. I do the online PDF. As soon as it gets done, I'll send it off to Evernote. So that way, when we go to winter camp, summer camp, a jamboree, a camporee, I don't have to figure out where I printed it. All I can do is just pull it up and go. And what I like to do is for each of my boys, I'll tag it with each of my boys' names. I'll also tag it with a second tag that says BSA medical form. So that way I can just do a search later when we go to summer camp, pull up BSA medical forms. Here's son 1, son 2, son 3, and myself. And we can just reprint them there versus trying to figure out where did we put those forms. Because I don't like medical forms and anything paper sitting around. So that's another one that I use. Also, we do a lot of printing for our newsletters, brochures, handouts for parents, calendars, annual stuff. And so we're always running out of ink, it seems. So what I've done is I've taken a picture of the ink cartridges that we use for our newsletter and stuff. Take a picture of the printer. So I know we've got the HP blah, blah, blah. And these are the ink cartridges. So I'll take a picture of the cartridge. And luckily, all 4 of them, black and the 3 colors, are all right there. I can just take one picture, boom, and I'll tag it with printer. And so when I'm at a store going to buy, or if I'm online, what was that print cartridge? I can just go to Evernote, pull up the tag printer, and see the print cartridge. There it is, and we're off and going. Also, when I sign up for something, and I want a confirmation, whether it be a purchase or just an event, even if it's free, you know how they send you those email events. Once again, forward all that stuff into Evernote. So that way you've got confirmations and you can start to build notes for a trip. Each spring we go down to Galena for the U.S. Grant Pilgrimage. And there's a bunch of stuff that has to happen. So anytime I get an email confirmation from someone, send it to Evernote, and I'll tag it Galena U.S. Grant Pilgrimage. And that just really helps there. Also, if we're at an event and I'm taking a bunch of pictures with my phone and stuff, obviously we'll get those up to Facebook. We'll get them into our newsletter. But I'll also take a bunch of them and I'll send them into Evernote. And then as we're going through, I might have 20 pictures from our blue and gold or our Pinewood Derby. And I'll just tag those, Pinewood Derby. And if there's special kids in there, I'll tag them with that. Because occasionally when we're doing stuff, we'll say, hey, do we have any pictures of so-and-so, like for an award or something, like to customize it and stuff. So, at each of these events, I'm sending it, so I'm tagging it with the event. I'm also tagging it with the kids' names, parents' names, and that way it's good to go. And that way at the end of the year, if we need to pull something up for a den leader, I can just look at the tag, see all the pictures, and grab one right there. So quick and easy without having to do a lot of mess. Also, I have all of my packing lists. Summer camp, winter camp, jamborees. If we do a canoe outing, what do I need to bring to the Pinewood Derby? Every one of these events has a packing list. And then also every single event we do has its own set of notes. One would be a pre-planning, one might be an email confirmation that we send out as a reminder, one might be the postcard that we mail or hand out. And then, of course, we've got our start, stop, and continues, which has got 2 tags. So like for a start, stop, and continue of our Pinewood Derby, I'd tag it Pinewood Derby, and I'd also tag it with my start, stop, and continue tag as well. So that way, sometimes if I just want to review all of our start, stops, and continues from a single year, I can pull up that one tag, and we're there. Also, every time I have a committee meeting, I tag it with the notes and stuff. I'll tag it with a committee meeting, I'll tag it with the month and with the year, and we're good. And so all of our events, all of our committee meetings. Also, as I was a den leader, no longer a den leader, I've trained my replacement over the summer to take over. But as a den leader, I would have my wolf rank. And I would say, den meeting 1, wolf rank, 2 different tags. So if I was doing this for the bear, I would do bear rank, week number 1. So that way, there's there. And then depending as to what you're doing, like if we were geocaching or if we were doing crafts, there'd be a bunch of other tags. I mean, many times I've got 4 or 5 tags on this because I use tags as my search. And I think in 6 months or a year, when the next den leader, the next committee chair, the next Cub Master needs these resources. How can I quickly find this? So I'll put a lot of different tags on things. So I hope that helps. I hope those are some tips to help you how I use Evernote. It's an invaluable tool. If there was only 2 apps that I could use on both my Mac and my iPhone and PC, Evernote is number 1. Things is number 2. That's all my to-do list. So that's how I use Evernote. So as always, learn everything you can, share everything you know, live the Scout Oath and Scout Law, and I'll see you tomorrow in the park.